Hi everybody, this is Professor Johnson. This is video 2 of 3 in our discussion of quality, voice of the customer, and critical to quality. So you recall in our first video that we were looking at two key concepts. One is this overall idea of quality, and that idea being meeting or exceeding customer expectations. That's what quality is all about. Then we drew in a concept that we had been discussing from Collier Chapter 6, this idea of voice of the customer when we were talking about process design. And the voice of the customer being the customer requirements expressed in their own words. So if the customer can give us these requirements, then we should be able to translate that into meeting or exceeding their expectations as we are delivering our goods or services to them. So this discussion then is to understand where gaps between these two things can occur, and then to give us a framework for beginning to think about how can we bridge those gaps. So this model of quality from Collier and Evans gives us a helpful way to think about that. Looking at this visual initially, it looks a little bit confusing. There are a lot of arrows and boxes. But let's see if we can break this down to make it a little simpler to understand. So we'll begin at the top with these gray boxes. And these gray boxes are all about the customer's expectations in terms of quality. So the customer's quality expectations can be a result of a variety of things. It could be from word-of-mouth communication from other people and what other people have told them about our good or our service. It could be just based on their personal needs and what they need from our good or service, and that's the reason they're coming to us. Or it could be from their past experience with us and the quality that we have delivered to them in the past. It can also come from communications we've had with them through our marketing and other communications around what to expect from us in terms of quality, goods, and services. So all of that combines to deliver what the customers expect from us in terms of quality. Now there can be a gap between their expectations and what they perceive to be our quality, and that has been labeled gap number 5. We'll look at some more of these gaps in a minute, but that can be a challenging gap to overcome. Next, let's look at the green boxes down here. These green boxes are us. This is us interpreting the customer's needs, translating those needs into specifications. Remember, we use the term specifications in video number 1, and then taking those specifications and actually putting them into delivering the product or service. This is really our process of translating customer needs into the good or service that we're producing for them. And you can see there are a number of potential gaps between the actual customer expectations and what happens in terms of delivering the quality of our good or service to the customer. And it happens in between just about every one of these boxes, right? There's another one that's critical here as well, and that's gap number 1. And that is really the gap between the customer's expectations of quality and how we have perceived their customer needs. Right? So the customers have a certain expectation of quality. We're listening to that, and we have certain perceptions of those needs. The key for us is to make sure that we are translating customers' expectations into our understanding, our perceptions, as literally as possible, and then creating specifications that will allow us to measure those. And this is where voice of the customer comes in. Voice of the customer becomes critical to us having an unvarnished view of what the customer's expectations are. Because remember, voice of the customer is customer expectations in their own words. So if we've done our voice of the customer research well, using the voice of the customer table tool, going on Gemba walks, holding focus groups, partnering with our marketing research folks to gather the voice of the customer in their own words, that will enable us to reduce, if not eliminate, gap number 1. So a tool that can be really useful in helping us to capture the meaning of voice of the customer and translate those into specific specifications is something that we'll call critical to quality, or CTQs. Development of CTQs helps to eliminate these two gaps, and that's what we're going to be talking about in video number 3.